Hello makeup addicts, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Sarah and I have a huge addiction to makeup and skincare, and this channel really is just a safe place for us all to share our obsession. If you want to join the family, just hit the subscribe link below, and if you like this video, give it a like. Now, the industry has been a bit devoid of many new releases recently, so I've been looking through my makeup drawers and realising just how many old and probably expired eyeshadow palettes that I've got in my drawers. I've got loads of palettes that I bought, actually a lot just because of the hype that surrounded them, and it made me wonder, how do these palettes that I bought ages ago perform now, years down the line, and how much have I actually used it? And that gave me the idea for this video, so I picked out the Urban Decay Naked Cherry palette, and let's answer those two questions. So first I'm going to refresh our memory of the details of this palette, then let's have a look at what the big influencers thought at the time when this was released. Let's see what it looks like for one. I've not opened this for about a year, and then we'll have a bit of a swatch party on it, and we'll give you some swatches of what an 18-month-old eyeshadow palette performs like. And then if you stay to the end, you get final thoughts, and let's see if we think this is still worth a buy and is still relevant in today's market. So just to refresh our memory, this was released in October 2018, as if it was that long ago. There's 12 shades in this palette, like in many Urban Decay Naked palettes. This is a talc-based palette and it is cruelty-free, though it does have carmine. If any of you need to know that, then that's there. This was £43 when I checked today on Urban Decay's website. I'm sure they used to be cheaper than that. Generally, you can benefit from deals though if you go on like the big websites that stock plenty of brands. Just wait for one of their 10 or 20% off deals. And this has a 24-month lifespan. But what did the big influencers think at the time? Well, I've gone back and had a look at a few of my favourites. So Tati, I really trust her advice. She thought that it blended well. She was impressed with the quality. She used the shimmers with a spray. And she did say that there was a bit of fallout in the palette. Wayne Goss, one of my favourite YouTubers, he said the shimmers were creamy, he loved the theme, and he just thought it was an amazing palette, in all fairness. And Anne Nook, who actually spends her time on YouTube doing eye looks, she thought it was a really sexy palette. She loved the colour story. When you watch her video, you see that she needs to build the mattes up, but she did an entirely matte look with this palette, and it was really amazing. Now, I actually can't remember the last time I used this palette. I want to say it's about a year ago. I have not opened this palette for a year. So first of all, I do just wonder what it looks like. Oh my god, I didn't even take the brush out. So the mirror is a bit dirty. I actually feel like I need to clean this. The mirror is a bit dirty. It's worth noting, I've probably moved house twice since I last used this palette, so it's been in a box a few times, but I'm just going to clean this. I'll be right back. Oh, I feel so much better about it now that it's clean. So this is a year after use. What I'm going to do, you know, it looks like it's in pretty good shape. Everything looks like you'd expect a palette to look like. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to swatch all of these for you so we can see if they're still performing. The way this is going to work is, first of all, I will do a finger swatch of each of the shades in the palette, followed by a swatch with a MAC 239 brush. This is a packing brush and great for packing on eyeshadows. Followed by a swatch of each shade with a MAC 221 brush. This is a blending brush, one of my favourite blending brushes. Between each shade, I'll use a colour swatcher, and I'm going to lay down some concealer on my arm when I'm using a brush so we get the best payoff possible. Now that I've swatched all these, I don't know why I haven't used this for so long. I absolutely love this palette. This is totally right up my street. This is right up my street. To be fair, the shimmers are right up my street. All I would say is almost all of them just seem to be quite chalky at the top. Maybe chalky is the wrong word. Chunky. A bit chunky at the top. I felt like I needed to smooth out a bit of the eyeshadow. That being said, I do wonder if there's an element of having to take the top layer off after it's not been used for such a long time. So yeah, you probably can't see these two very well on camera, but they are really nice. This one isn't as purple as you'd think. This, like, to the eye, you'd probably think it was a really dark brown. And actually the colour you can see on the camera is a good representation of what it is in real life. This one, however, just keeps calling out to me. I love a shade like this. So pigmented and so sparkly. I absolutely love it. But let's move on and crack on to doing our first brush swatches. Now that I've swatched all these with a brush, it really is quite clear that if you're going to use the shimmers, then you need to wet your brush. Now, this one performs pretty well, can't really argue with that. It's probably my favourite shade in the pan, if I'm honest. And these two really didn't perform very well at all in comparison. You can just see straight through them. I can't really not mention the amount of fallout that there is along my arm, and you can't really see it, but there's fallout on my table too. There's even fallout in the pan. Well, I say fallout, I really mean dust. Those little black dots that you can see in the little pans are actually powder of where there's kick up in the pan. But enough of that, let's move on to our swatches with a MAC 221 brush. You know, it never ceases to amaze me how well the shimmers do with a blending brush. I mean, why don't we just apply it that way? They do really well. You can see that I've still had a fallout problem while I've been doing this, but I do load my brush up, and I suppose if you used it a bit more sparingly than I do, you may not have that problem. So my final thoughts on this really is that it is a wonderful palette. The quality is fantastic, just as you would expect from anything from Urban Decay. All I would say is that for £42, this is not your only option. You know, you could go to Morphe and get yourself the mini James Charles palette for £26, and that's going to see you most of the way there. Huda Beauty for £25 have either the mauve or amethyst palettes. They could see you most of the way there. The Carnival palette's got loads of lovely purples and pinks in it. So there are other options if you don't want to spend £42 and want something pink and purple. However, these are great eyeshadows. I absolutely love it. I really need to bring it out of my collection more and use it. I suppose the problem is you can only really use it when you want a purple look. It's not exactly an everyday palette. But I don't think that really should hold it back, because if we stopped doing that, we'd only ever have neutral everyday palettes. And that would be so boring. So that's it from me today. I hope you found this video helpful or enjoyed it. I'd love to know how you found this video. Did you come from another video? Are you thinking about buying this palette, or do you just love to watch a good swatch? Let me know down in the comments. Are there any palettes that you'd like to see, either old or new, reviewed or swatched? Just let me know below and I'll do my best. But other than that, if you enjoyed this video, just give it a thumbs up below, and if you want to see more, then go ahead and subscribe to this channel. I hope you have a fantastic day. Thank you so much for stopping by, and I will see you on the next one.